What if the greatest empire in human history never collapsed? What if Rome and everything it built simply never fell? Flash forward. An alternate year, 1000 AD. Roman legions still patrol the Rhine. Latin is spoken from Scotland to Persia. The empire never ended. Steam-powered mills line the Tiber. Roman astronomers have mapped the southern stars. The Senate still meets in the Eternal City. But to understand how that world was possible, we go back. August 476 AD. The Western Empire has 1 month left. For a century, the Western Empire had been bleeding. Germanic tribes crossed the Rhine and Danube unchallenged. Rome was hollowing out from within. In 410 AD, Visigoth King Alaric sacked the city of Rome itself. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City burned. Then came Attila. His Hunnic cavalry swept across Central Europe in 451 AD, turning entire provinces to ruin. The West had no answer. The Western throne passed through child emperors and puppet rulers. Real power belonged to Germanic warlords, commanding what remained of the Roman army. By 475 AD, a teenager named Romulus Augustulus held the Western throne. He was Rome's founder and first emperor, in name alone. His commander was Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain who controlled the Western army. On September 4th, 476 AD, Odoacer made his move. By 476 AD, the Western map was shattered. Visigoths held Spain, Vandals held Africa, Burgundians held Gaul. Rome controlled almost nothing. Odoacer forced Romulus to abdicate. He sent the imperial regalia east to Constantinople and declared himself King of Italy. The West was gone. Eastern Emperor Zeno received the news in Constantinople. He recognized Odoacer's authority, made him a patrician, and looked away. The West was lost. The roads crumbled. The libraries burned. Latin fractured into dying dialects. 1,000 years of darkness followed. But what if Zeno had refused? In our alternate timeline, Zeno doesn't look away. He mobilizes the Eastern Fleet. The legions march west. History pivots on one emperor's refusal. 12,000 Eastern troops land at Ravenna in autumn 477 AD. Odoacer falls back to the Alps. The Western throne is not yet empty. By 479 AD, Odoacer surrenders. Julius Nepos is restored to the Western throne. Rome, improbably, still has an emperor. The reunification is fragile but real. Zeno funds reconstruction of Ravenna's defenses. New tax agreements slow the Germanic drift toward independence. Rome doesn't expel the Germanic settlers. It absorbs them, as it always had. Visigoths become border legions. Burgundians become tax-paying citizens. Without political collapse, the Church never fills Rome's power vacuum. Christianity spreads, but the Pope remains spiritual, not political. Two authorities balance. By 500 AD, in the alternate timeline, one empire still stretches from Britain to Egypt. The fracture lines never hardened into separate nations. Without Rome's collapse, the Franks remain a border people. There is no Charlemagne. Medieval Europe's patchwork of competing kingdoms never materializes. Latin doesn't shatter into French, Spanish, and Italian. A unified written language persists across the Western world. Literacy rates hold. Knowledge accumulates. The Roman road network survives and expands. Trade between Britain, North Africa, and the Levant continues uninterrupted. No Dark Age economic collapse. When Islam emerges in 610 AD, an intact Roman Empire blocks its natural Western expansion routes. The early caliphates negotiate rather than conquer. Without Islamic conquest of Jerusalem, And without a fragmented Europe desperate for unity, the Crusades as we know them simply never happen. Roman engineering never pauses. Watermills, concrete, aqueducts, each generation builds on the last. By 600 AD, something resembling proto-industry takes hold. The empire is not perfect. It fractures, reforms, shifts east, but it endures. And that endurance changes everything that follows. 100 years after the divergence, 576 AD, the alternate empire spans from Scotland to Persia. One law, one language, one continuous civilization. With intact trade networks, disease travels, but so does medical knowledge. Roman physicians build continuously on Greek foundations. The tradition never fractures. The Black Death still strikes in 1347, but a world with quarantine infrastructure and accumulated medical knowledge handles it very differently. Roman engineers, never interrupted, developed movable type by approximately 900 AD, 5 centuries before Gutenberg. Knowledge spreads exponentially across a literate world. What we call the Renaissance never needs to happen. The classical learning was never lost. Science, philosophy, and art advance in an unbroken line. By 800 AD in the alternate timeline, Roman astronomers work from foundations our world wouldn't reach until the 1500s. The stars are mapped differently. With superior navigation, Roman ships probe the Atlantic by 750 AD. The Americas are encountered centuries earlier, under entirely different terms. Rome doesn't arrive in the Americas with conquest as its primary tool. Trade and diplomacy precede the legions. The indigenous encounter is profoundly different. Without competing European nations racing to exploit new continents, the transatlantic slave trade as we know it never emerges. Perhaps the most profound difference. 500 years after the divergence, 976 AD, the alternate Roman world is unrecognizable from ours. A single civilization from Edinburgh to Bombay. Rome and the Arab world coexist in contested but productive tension. Islamic and Roman scholarship cross-pollinate inside the same universities. Both are transformed. When the Mongols emerge in the 1200s, they face a militarily unified civilization rather than a patchwork of kingdoms. The scale of devastation is contained. By 1000 AD, in the alternate world, steam-powered machines drive Roman mills and mines. An industrial revolution unfolds 6 centuries ahead of ours. Roman medicine, building uninterrupted on Greek foundations, develops germ theory by approximately 900 AD, knowledge our world wouldn't reach until the 1860s. Christianity and Roman civic religion evolve in dialogue, not opposition, for 15 centuries. The theology that emerges is more philosophically complex and more tolerant. Alternate 1000 AD is technologically ahead of our 1700s, but it is not utopian. New inequalities have replaced the old. Power concentrated still corrupts. In the alternate present, Roman civilization spans every continent. Space exploration began in the 1800s. Humanity is, by our measures, centuries further advanced. But fragmentation also produced diversity. Thousands of languages, cultures, and artistic traditions emerged precisely because Rome fell. Unity and richness traded places. A world where Rome never fell might be more advanced. But would it produce Shakespeare, Dante, or jazz? Collapse, too, creates. The real fall of Rome seeded the world with competing powers and ideas. Our diversity of languages, nations, and cultures came directly from that fracture. None of this happened, but it teaches us something real. Civilization is not inevitable. Every institution exists because someone chose to maintain it. If you love rewriting history, subscribe to Counterfact. New episodes every week. The past isn't fixed, and neither is your understanding of it.